You. Hello, everyone. My name is Jackie Hastings, and I am really excited, fired up about this Eric Worre training we had this weekend. And gosh, there's so many things, and I'm thankful I get to go first because then I don't have to worry what everybody else is saying. No, just kidding. But really, um, going to this training this weekend was a really tough call for me. And I have to say, I got put in charge. I nominated myself to take on a parade float project for our school that we're in the process of rebuilding and trying to get together with my team excuse me, downstate. With the timing, it just didn't work. But I had to make a dedication to myself as I was out building on the float. I legit was listening to this call when it was ridiculous. They're saying message people. I'm like, wait, I got to take my gloves off so I can message these people. And then, the next couple of days, making the time to do these things. And why? It's not for me. And that was one of the things that he talked about. And then I've really had to shift. And my mindset is a helper mindset. I'm a super nerd and I geek out on all of the science stuff, but my heart is so much in helping people. And I've realized that in my desire to help people, I haven't given people the opportunity to help themselves as much as I should have. And when I look back at my businesses and I see where my failures and successes have been, it's been more in the people that have been willing to take on responsibility for their own actions. They've asked for that accountability and they've been willing to change, not me pushing their behinds along the way. So one of the big things, excuse me, that he talked about was having crucial conversations with people, moving them from dependent to independent and asking questions along the way of, are you willing? Are you coachable? Are you hungry? I need you to be these three things in order to do this business. And if you're not, that's okay. But I can't work with you. I can't get you to reach the goals that you want to reach. And telling someone something, showing them something, having them try it, and then having them do it. I thought that was so, so huge. And then also asking, well, how quickly do you want to reach these goals? And then having a check back in with them. And then also asking, when you go silent, how do you want me to reach back out to you? How do you want me to reconnect with you? So those are some things, because sometimes you think somebody's awesome, they're all in, they're doing all this stuff, and then they go silent. You're like, what did I do wrong? We take that on ourselves, and it's not necessarily so much about ourselves, but it's about how we've communicated with them and how we've given them the tools to communicate back to us. And sometimes they don't use those tools. So I thought that was big. And then the little flip in, a lot of times they'll say, I'm going to help you build this business. And it's all about the punctuation. I will help you build the business. So it was a big shift there. So that's definitely something that I'm really looking at. And I might have thrown up in my mouth a little bit, but I really did take Fallon's laughing because I told her this too, and Elizabeth, because I am going to do the next leadership training thing. And it's a huge commitment. It's a lot of money. It's Christmas time, but you know what? It's worth it. I believe just the bit I got out of these 3 days was so huge. So the next 21 weeks, in order to be able to help learn, move, and grow, I think is so worth it. So those are some of my big takeaways. And I have to look at the list. Who's next? I'm fired.
You're not fired. I'm next. Hey, everybody. There was an amazing 3 days. And when he had us put ourselves in those buckets right in the beginning, I mean, I am firmly in bucket number 1. And I signed up for it with the hope that if I got something out of all of the stuff on recruitment, that then it was well worth whatever money I spent. That anything I got above that was just gravy, because I have been so stuck at recruiting for a really long time. And I don't think that he really said anything that I hadn't heard before, but it was the way it was presented. It was the perspective. I don't know. It was just, it hit me in a different sense. And he gave us 3. He said, the ways to invite other people are direct, indirect, and super indirect. And I have been putting the majority of my efforts into those direct conversations, and then getting really frustrated when somebody didn't, they didn't, for lack of a better word, they didn't bite. And I recently had a huge success in my sister-in-law, who I talked to for 2 years, and I knew deep down that she needed what we have to offer. And she was not interested. She finally, out of desperation, said, all right, tell me a little bit more. But because I was doing so much direct, I was getting really frustrated when I wasn't getting results. And so when he started talking about indirect and, asking for support and advice and validation and help and guidance, and in doing so, educating the people that I'm talking to, while opening up potentially, more prospects, I was like, oh my gosh, that's just brilliant. And I'm sure that my leaders have told me this before, but for whatever reason, it really hit. And the other huge takeaway I had is, I know I've been stuck in belief for a long time, and it has never been belief in the products. My belief in the products is rock solid. My belief in our company is rock solid. My belief in myself was low for a while, but it was, I'm finally getting there. And because I am a leader in a different aspect of my life, I know I can lead. It's like there's this big gap in between, getting started and leading. But what I realized and at this training was that it was my belief in network marketing as an industry. That's where I was failing. And it was so affirming to hear from people from all different companies. Plexus gives us amazing leadership and amazing examples. But that was really my only experience of network marketing from the inside. And so to see that from all these different people in the panels and to hear Eric talk, that was huge for me. And there were just light bulbs going off, and I took pages and pages of notes. So I just wanted to share that. I could share so much more, but then no one else would get to talk. So I'm done. Thank you for letting me share tonight.
Sorry. Okay. I just had to go. My baby woke up, but I'm back. Okay. So, my biggest takeaway I'm going to share from day one. And I did not get to go to Grand Rapids for our teams, but I was able to stream it. And when we had to send out 100 messages in an hour, I was like super pumped up for that. Did it. And you're listening the whole hour. I just was running. You're listening the whole hour and taking it all in. But as I'm sending these messages, they were talking about right now in quarter 4, you're setting yourself up for momentum in quarter 1. And last year, this time, I was really overwhelmed with the holidays and balancing both, plus the newborn baby, but also business and holiday life. So I did not do a very good job with IPA last year, this time. This year, even just from that one day of sending out 100 messages, I can see the benefit that that's going to bring me if we all do that consistently, like every month. And now what I've been doing just within this last week is, okay, I can't answer all of those questions or messages right away, but I can start more conversations. So even that one piece of advice that was given in like 1 hour of the entire 3-day training was super valuable. And then relating to that, he touched on quantity over quality. That's really a big issue for us. Well, most of us, right? And yeah, that just kind of relates into everything I just said. But just doing more of the things that we know that we're supposed to be doing and not getting stuck and worrying about exactly what you're supposed to be saying, the perfect reach out, but just starting more conversations in general, non-related to a sales pitch. And that was hanging me up, but now it's not. And yeah, I feel like just that tiny little glimpse of the whole 3-day training opened up a lot for me. So thank you for letting me share.
Hey guys, how are you tonight? Thanks for letting me share as well. So, so many amazing things to take away from these 3 days. From like looking at things from like an employee mindset, shifting to the entrepreneur mindset and how to overcome that employee mindset and moving into the entrepreneur mindset and helping our team do that. Earners versus leaders really hit home for me too, as I evaluated myself as, am I an earner, or am I a leader? Like, I feel obviously I need to develop my leadership skills even more so I can help my team even more and lead them into leaders. And then how to develop a leader. And he kind of laid out quite a bit of direct steps on how to give assignments and check in and, hold them accountable. Like Jackie was saying, like, what do you want me to do when you don't meet this assignment? Like, how do you want, this to be handled? To develop those leaders and moving people from dependent to that independent. I thought Gary Brecka was absolutely amazing as well. I think it's Jackie's secret soulmate. He had so many brilliant things to say and reaffirming, obviously, that we do have the best products for our health and that we are doing it right. So if that didn't build your belief in our products, if you didn't have it already, I don't know what will, but I think we all are here because we have amazing belief in our products from our own testimonies. But so yeah, it was a lot to me, was the leadership development part and deciphering between earners versus leaders and how to get people to become a leader and duplicate that down. I think Melissa is next. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for all those good points, Rochelle, for sure. Some of my favorite takeaways, I mean, there was so much in the 3 days, but was just his overall like perspective shift and how he always really comes from like a curiosity perspective that he wants to make us, be good stewards of the profession and be, personable, that all business is conversation. And so just being curious with people, learning about their life, talking to them, asking lots of questions, even when he went over like through the recruiting phase and dealing with objections, just asking questions, why do you feel that? And he gave us, some verbiage and stuff, but just always when there was a problem, just asking questions, figuring things out, having that curiosity mindset, because we can figure it out and there's a way to do it. And he was kind of saying that there's no shame in being stuck either, but it's just being not willing to be willing, coachable, or willing, capable, and hungry to get where you want to be. So if you kind of settle down and don't continue to grow, that you're going to continue to be stuck and not make progress where we want. And just all the tools that he's given us, a lot of it, is things that we have in our business, in our team, in Plexus, and just time and time again between it was the health stuff with Gary Brecka, the panels where people would sit up and talk about their recruiting and duplication systems and leadership, like that's stuff that we have in our company and that Plexus pours into us and our team pours into us. And it was really amazing for building my belief in just our company and just our team and what we have and how amazing it is. So I think that was my biggest takeaways. And so whoever's next, I think it's Steve.
All right. Yeah, absolutely incredible 3 days. A lot of surprises, especially with Gary Brecka. I was not expecting that at all. And just a little snippet there. I had experimented a little bit from some posts on the whole idea of grounding and what he was saying there with the magnetism of the earth. It just kind of cemented the idea that get outside, touch the earth, and get fresh air, sunlight, oxygen, all excellent things our bodies need. Now is the time. The best time for action was yesterday, but get moving now. The next 6 to 24 months are going to be like the California gold rush of our industry for network marketing. I just want to echo some of the things that Christy had said about recruiting, create a big funnel. I know one of the big takeaways I got was I'm too direct. I need to work on the indirect and super indirect approaches, and definitely going to be working on that more and see where that takes my business. Study other people's posts. Look at their social media and how that, the ways they post, and learn from that. I like the idea of posting to the different personality colors, keeping that in mind. For the reds, talk about money, talk about leadership. For the greens, you got to have lots of detail. For the yellows, incorporate all the fun that you'll have. And bad experiences, you'll learn more from those than you will just the day in and day out stuff. So don't be afraid to make mistakes, but learn from them. What else? Be willing, hungry, and coachable. And like everyone else has said, get your mindset right. Belief in yourself, belief in the company, belief in the products, and plug into all the events. So with that, Megan, you're next.
Hey guys, so I really liked what he was talking about with the recruiting, raising your commitment level to match your goals. And there's no limitations on connecting with people and recruiting people. The only limitations are what's in your mind. So really getting out of your own head and making it a point to make the commitment that you are giving to yourself and your team to match the goals and the vision that you have set for yourself. That really that hit home with me. I really like that because it's so easy to get in your own head. And like, yes, we all have our big vision. We all have those big goals. But if you're not doing the things to match what you want to be able to reach, then it's obviously not going to happen. So I really like that. And then recruiting, like all the steps of recruiting, recruiting properly and not making it about yourself. It can't be about yourself. Of course, they want the people that we're talking to, of course, they want that validation that like, yes, we believe in our products and yes, we believe in our business, but it's not about us. It's about them getting out of their way so they can see the big vision, like how he stood in front of a couple of those people. Like, no, you need to get out of the way. You need to let them see the opportunity, let them have that vision, cast a vision for them, but then get out of the way so that you're showing them the opportunity. You're not showing them yourself. And we can't be third-party validators for our level ones. Like, yes, we can be a third-party validator for a level 2, but for our level ones, we're showing them like how we've all been taught to show diamond docs and other things that are those third-party validators. So it's not just coming from us because, again, reiterating, it's not about us. So I really liked the second day when he was talking about a ton about recruitment. That was really, really awesome. Yishana, you're next.
Hello, hello. All right, so my biggest takeaways, I kind of broke them down by day 1, day 2, day 3. And before the event, I listened to the GoPro book on YouTube the week before. So everything that was in the event, it was like the cherry on top to his book. So I highly suggest reading it, listening to it after this, as it is super beneficial to everything he touched on this week. But some of the day 1 takeaways, the recruiting, he taught, same thing Megan said, that your goals and commitment level have to be equal. Your limiting beliefs, just getting out of your head, do the scary things. I found it really interesting. He said about using tools and events to work for you. Don't try to be the expert. Get out of the way and let the third party tool and event do the work. And the goal is education and understanding. On duplication, let's see. Oh, I liked it when he said about recruiting. My goal is to help you become independent from me as soon as possible. And that you asked him, do you think that's a good goal? And then I will help, but you build your business. The accountability ups and downs, that I know you'll have in a down when you're quiet. It's like, how do you want me to handle this? And being willing, coachable, and hungry, looking for those types of people. As far as leadership, I found it really interesting when he said he asked Richard Branson about the best thing an entrepreneur can do over the next year. And he said, it's not what I expected. And he said they need to be in the best physical shape possible. And then when Gary Brecka came on and just talked everything health and wellness, I was like, yes, I'm in the right business. And the let's see. Oh, and about, he said not using upline as an excuse for anything, be independent, look into things on our own, take initiative by looking everything up that we can. And then if we can't find the answer, go to other people for help. And then he said about never giving, always trade. So I found that interesting. And oh, and then if a prospect looks at our company, does it look simple? Do they think it will work? And could they do it? And that's what they have to ask themselves. Okay, it looks simple. I think it will work. I think I could do it. And having systems in place written out for everybody. And also about personal development, reading, listening to podcasts, and then connecting with successful people above you as much as possible. Surround yourself with those people so that you can develop as well. So those are my takeaways. And thank you so much.
All right. So I'm going to share a couple of my takeaways. I'm going to try to keep this short. I just being vulnerable is one of my biggest strengths. So I'm going to just be vulnerable and transparent right now and say that I actually spent the last 2 years in the deepest, darkest depression, anxiety of my life. It was actually really scary coming out of postpartum depression and everything. And so guys, like this training like kicked me in my butt. Like it was like a gut punch. And it was also equally like the permission I didn't know I needed to allow myself to be successful. And so I mean, you guys, I'm gonna be vulnerable here. I think that so many of us get caught up in our self-limiting beliefs that we don't know that we can do what it takes to be successful and we can deserve it too. And sorry. So I love this training, hands down. It was the best $100 I could have ever spent next to the triplex when I started 5 years ago. And then Gary Brecka's speech, oh my gosh, like that was like speaking to my nerd language as well, because it's where I've been the last 2 years, like really in a deep dive of health and trying to get my health back. And hearing my ADD and my anxiety and my depression. And so next to that though, what really, so this led into the recruiting too. So Gary Brecka said, your physiology will keep you in the state where it's most comfortable. Okay, I really believe that about mindset too. Your mind will keep you where it is most comfortable, right? So I spent the last 2 years self-isolating. And so when you're self-isolating, when you're not reaching out, when you also don't, these like Eric Worre said, how do you want your upline to check on you? Like that really hit home. Like, how do I want to be checked in on? Like, and it opened my eyes to how do I want to help my team? How do I want to reach out to them? How do I want to check in on them? And looking for those red flags of, okay, I can tell that this person is going to self-sabotage or is down that path because I've been there. So what do I need to look for? And also really that he noted that statistics show if a prospect earns $1, they are 74% more likely to continue on with the business. And looking at core rank and looking at, okay, this is the highest rank, in our Fast Start program is great for that. If this is the highest rank that they can reach that is most reasonable in the first 90 days, like let's get them there. And so that really opened my eyes to recruiting and duplication And to simplify everything, that quantity over quality is better to get things moving, and that you can revisit quality. But if you're not moving, if you're not taking action, you're not going to even be able to get to that part of quality. So that was really eye-opening, that challenge that we had, that assignment that we had of reach out to 100 people in 60 minutes. And it was very clear how easily distracted a person can get just even listening to the room. People are like, well, wait, someone's messaging me back. Okay, don't reply. You keep going and you keep messaging and you keep reaching out to people, because that's where I would get caught up. That's where I would fall short before. And so again, like, just, it was so eye-opening as to, okay, this is what didn't work in my business before, and this is how I'm going to change it moving forward. And Fallon, I think you're next.
I am, and you guys hit the nail on the head with all of the training from this weekend. I'm surprised my hands aren't cramped up today, because I spent the whole time texting in our chat and then texting my leaders, like everybody privately. I'm like, why don't I just put all of them in the chat? And I'm like, they probably won't say all of this stuff in a group chat, so I'll just keep them all separate. So I'm like texting the same things to everyone on repeat the entire day. But I told several of them and you guys that it was just a life-changing weekend, even just for me. And Brittany Howard messaged me, said that this just was a kick in her butt too. Like, I am so excited to be back into building hardcore mode. And it was stuff we've all heard. So I heard somebody say this week, like, is it just going to be stuff I've heard 100 times? If you can't hear something 100 times and let it affect you like that, like, you got some other issues. You don't need to hear it. You need to work on that, because if we're all pumped up, motivated, wow, send 100 messages, nothing new. But he had us do it right then and there and set a big goal, and we did it. And I just wanted to say that when I started network marketing, there wasn't a lot of help from sponsors and stuff like that, but Eric was 100% my mentor, not one-on-one, but I bought his Millionaire Mindset CDs, and they're on eBay. They're $50. If you've been on any of my coaching, I tell everyone to get them. And when I mentioned Eric Worre and my kids heard his voice, my oldest is like, that's a very familiar voice. Yeah, because these are the CDs we listen to when we get in the car, when I need to put on a movie because we are driving 2 hours away to get milk. That's what my kids watched and listened to. And I would hear the cheering and the clapping, and I knew they were watching someone go on stage. They're getting their awards, and they were hearing of people living out of their cars, spending their childhood and homeless or in jail and all of those things. And nobody taught me how to recruit. Nobody taught me how to follow up. He just says, do those things. And so I did. I had the conversations. I followed up because I wanted to get them on the products. I wanted them to change their life. Nobody has to teach you those things. It's great to be taught, and there's questions. I was always like, Lori, if you could just tell me what you're saying, like show me a screenshot, I could go and duplicate that. And she's like, it's different every time. So I had no help. I had to stumble through all of that, and that was okay. It turned me into a strong leader. But if I could tell you guys one thing, it would definitely be to either get his CDs for $50 on eBay, or get into his GoPro Academy, listen to his stuff all day long. As I'm hearing his systems and everything, like, these are the things that we did. This is what has made our team successful. And when people follow these things, it's so powerful. And Jamie's like, I can't believe you haven't told us all to do this sooner. I'm like, I have, but not on this level, because we are entering into momentum as a company, momentum as a team. And I have that frequency. I can see it and I can feel it. So many people are ready to enter another wave of momentum, and that's going to be contagious for all of you. Like, everybody is there and you guys want to be a part of that. So I just love hearing this, like all of those on the panel. I don't care what company they were with. If people are Googling what companies they're with and so worried about, oh, this is their third company or what, like, who cares? The fact of the matter is, these are people from all walks of life who are being wildly successful. And if they can do it, you can all do it. And I would watch those people and I would just cry. All those $1 million earners going up there and getting their trophy. And I was like, that can be me, because look at this person. They are so normal. That will be me someday. And that just super motivated me, because I would see them here. They're telling their stories and they're crying and their lives are changed. And you don't see that with a 9-to-5 job. And I'm going to end on this, but I love what he said, that network marketing is going to make you feel all of the emotions. And I've never heard it said that way before, because it's true. And that's what I say when I'm like, people flipping burgers, like they're showing up, they're going there, they're coming home, but they don't feel all of those kind of things because it's not on the same level. And you're also not going to get paid on the same level either, or have the opportunity to impact lives like this. I know that, I mean, especially you guys, physical therapists, you're changing lives, you're helping people through their health, and that is all so needed too. But this can allow the normal everyday person who doesn't have that platform to be able to change lives. As a nobody, as a stay-at-home mom that had no network and no degree, all those things those people say, and yet these lives are able to change. It just levels the playing field. So that is my favorite part of network marketing. It gives all of us a chance to impact so many.
Thank you so much, Fallon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know why I set myself up to have to talk after you, but I did have a couple things that I wanted to add. And I think it really piggybacks off of what you had said. Like, the other thing is really having the conversation with people and helping them see that this is an opportunity to buy their time back. Let's buy some time back. Let's not be a slave to the 9-to-5, because now you can start buying your time back and get to a point of not needing that. And I think the other thing that really helped me to stay driven and really get to the point where I could leave my full-time job is that I didn't treat my Plexus business like it was a side and secondary thing. I treated my full-time job like it was secondary. I'm like, I already can do this. I can go see a hip replacement, joint replacement, back surgery, cardiac. I can do that half with my eyes closed. Like I was like a few months ago, I worked with Melissa, and she had a student. And so we were letting her student do everything. And I was like, literally my skin was crawling. I'm like, I am useless. I am useless here. I'm absolutely useless. There is no reason for me to be here except that I'm the PT. She was OT, and I need to be here to also evaluate the patient. Right. But I was like, oh my gosh, like I know this stuff like the back of my hand, and to watch a student struggle through. Right. So my job was very, very much secondary. It was very secondary. It was like, okay, I'm at a lunch break and I'm messaging people and I'm doing IPA. I would get done with my work. I'd listen to training videos while I was typing. I'd get done with work and I'd do more IPA before I'd go home, because I knew once I got home, there was no way I was going to get anything done until kids were in bed and I'm falling asleep with them. Right. Like it was my priority in terms of my jobs, this was my priority. And, it shifted and things have been weird and stuff happened with my family. Now I'm back in this dumb position, but temporarily. And, I'm like, fine, you know what? I got a lot of you working full time. And guess what? If I can do this at the level I'm at, then I'm going to show you can do it too at the level you're at. So I'm just accepting it as a challenge to say, let's do it together then. Let's get up at 5 a.m. and work for 30 minutes and send out 50 messages. That's what we're going to do. So y'all just be ready to set your alarms, because I got to then go to the gym and then go on with my life. I think he was really, really, really true to say that entrepreneurs need to be in the best physical shape of their life. It is true, because when you're at the gym and you're working hard, I worked out with the gym owner a few weeks ago, and I was like trying to keep up with him. Now, okay, hello, you've all seen me just walk. So you know that me working out is not pretty, nor is it easy on me and whatever. And so I am like, no, because I'm competitive. And Eric is the gym owner and he is in incredible shape and he's a guy. Like I set myself up for a challenge. Like I set myself up to say, I'm going to get on this bike next to him and I'm going to do my damnedest to stay up with him. right? It was making myself uncomfortable so that when I have to send a message and say, hey, would you want to be interested in some gut health? That's not scary. That's not uncomfortable, right? Putting myself in uncomfortable and challenging situations so that this is nothing. Having conversations is not difficult. There are some tweaking that I want to do. There's tweaking I want to teach you, but that's not even difficult. That just means we're going to learn and we're going to grow and we're going to figure it out, right? So those were a couple of things. And lastly, my last thing for now is that good leaders have vision and great leaders give vision. And we just talked about this. We just did this whole book, The Vision Driven Leader, but then Eric Worre said it, and I'm like, yes, like we are leading you well. We are on the right track to say, yes, we get to have a vision, but we get to give a vision. We want to give a vision. Eric Worre saying it, we're on the right track, right? So like a lot of you said, like not anything he said was like, oh my gosh, I've never heard this before. But the way he said it and the way to edify us and give us, what was it? The third party validation, basically, right? That we're on the right track. So good. And then just knowing like we have systems, but guess what? We want to make sure that our systems are duplicatable, duplicatable, making sure they're on a piece of paper, making sure that this is easy to follow and get it out to all of you to get to your next person, to get to our new people, So we're excited. I'm doing the boot camp, huge commitment while working every single day and then getting on a call, and God only knows what kind of homework he's going to give. So be ready for some 5 a.m. power hours is all I have to say. So thank you all for getting on. I know we talked a little long, we started late. So thank you for sacrificing your weekend and investing. It wasn't a sacrifice, it was an investment. Thank you for investing your weekend. Thank you for investing your time. Thank you for investing your time this evening. And we're just here to love on you, and we're going to do it together. It's like I've never hit a recording before. There we go.